All right, Leos, welcome. This is a timeless intuitive tarot reading. Although we are also looking at the energies around the new moon in Aquarius and the full moon in Leo from late January and early February. So the full moon was just in your sign, Leo. Yeah? And Leo's, the essence of Leo's is to believe in our own sacred self-expression, to use our creativity, to draw our creativity, to express ourselves, to express what we're about. It's about, this new moon is greatly about, which, you know, the energies are still happening. It's greatly about feeling what's in your heart, in our hearts. To be in touch with who you really are. And as Leos, to lead. But to lead through a full and truthful expression of yourself, of what lies in your heart, of what makes you, you. So let's draw overall energies for you, Leo. Came out fast. Four of Wands. Four of Wands talks about, you know, a celebration. Or, you know, some have referred to it as a finish line. I like that. You know, a celebration is kind of like a finish line. You know, it's attaining something. It's getting somewhere. And the full moon is also, the full moon also talks about a culmination. Yeah. It talks about, you know, an overflowing of an energy that has been filling up and filling up and filling up, or an intention that has been increasing and adding and growing. And then it arrives at a point where that starts to overflow. And that's where it can be expressed, shared. So the Four of Wands, you know, alludes to that too. It's when the overflow happens, when the culmination happens, when the ripeness is here. Then there's a celebration, there's a sharing, there's an expressing. The Four of Wands, many people refer to as a wedding celebration, which can be. Because perhaps a wedding celebration is a culmination of a coming together that has increasingly grown, a union that has grown increasingly. And then there's a culmination of that union, of that coming together of two people that results in a celebration of a wedding. You know, to me, fours also talk about home, either our physical homes or the home that's in our heart. Home is where your heart is, right? Leo is ruled by the heart. So it can talk about what feels close to home for you. But the Five of Wands can denote sometimes a struggle. But it doesn't necessarily need to be a serious struggle, because the Five of Wands is many times depicted by play. You know, by young people who are playing a game. But you know, the game does involve some struggle, because there is some competition that happens, right? You know, there are different forces being applied, one against the other. So maybe, you know, the other card doesn't want to come out. So maybe there is a playing out of different forces at the home that are pushing against each other. So maybe there's some struggle there. Maybe just, you know, tension. Things around the home that let me take care of this sound here. Okay, things around the home that are causing tension, but they're just the tension is just coming up so that they can be looked at and then addressed to be smoothed out again, right? Usually fives are about that. It's like a climax that asks for some kind of shift, some kind of action, some kind of change. Okay. This is my newly arrived Thoth deck. I love it so much because it fits in my hand. My small hands. And so we're going to draw one from here for the end as a final advice. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's take a look at... Ooh, one fell out. Okay. Let's get it in here. An extra one fell out. Okay. Let's take a look at this, this struggle. Well, you know, I do prefer to call it tension at this time. This tension of energies that are pushing against each other. Close to home. Either in our physical home or, you know, the people, places, and things that are in our heart that we hold close and dear. Wow, they just flew out. This came out in the very same position, and the deck has been thoroughly shuffled. Came out in the very same position that it did yesterday for Cancers. Eight of Swords, Prince of Swords, which would be the Knight of Swords. Okay, so definitely the Eight of Swords here at the very center beneath the Five of Wands does indeed reinforce this time certainly a struggle, yeah, and greatly a struggle of the mind, of how we are perceiving things, of how we are perceiving ourselves to be tied into a situation, in our thoughts, in our mind, bound, feeling stuck, unable to move or take action or even find the right avenue of thought or action. On the other hand, however, you know, we have the Prince of Swords pointing away from that. You know, and the Prince slash Knight, Prince or Knight, is always on a mission. She's on a mission to get something done. You know, the Knights were those that, you know, we set out to go get that thing done. Go find somebody or get a message delivered or save somebody. And perhaps this Knight here is your saving of self. You know, it's already a movement out of that stuck place. Yeah, and it's pointing right into the Six of Pentacles, which talks about balance. You know, a right amount of giving and taking, giving and receiving. Not only between ourselves and others, but between ourselves and our own self, right? Creating balance. How much of me am I giving? You know, making sure that I'm not giving to a point where I'm being depleted. You know, fives sometimes talk about depletion, yeah? And many times that is the reason for the need for some change to take place. So there's already action here being taken, yeah? Perhaps there is already a realization of, okay, if I stay stuck here in my mind, then the perception is that I am stuck all around. But, you know, if I take the first step of action, whatever action, you know, in whatever direction, if I just start moving, then I can trust that I will be guided to do what needs to be done to obtain that balance, or to bring things back into balance in the home front, or, you know, in my heart, and things that I hold close and dear. At the bottom of the deck, the Eight of Pentacles, yes. So work is already being taken. Work is already taking place. We are already working towards something, and we already see results. The results are there on the table. I love some of the images on this Druid Tarot. And, you know, he's making iron molds. Okay, these flew out. Queen of Wands, Three of Cups. Okay, being part of a tribe. Yes, celebrating with those we do hold clear and dear and close and dear. Still being part of that, of the whole. But also keeping very present with the Queen of Wands here. That, you know, we do not abandon ourselves. We stay very present with our strength. We sit with our strength. We sit with our knowing. The Queen of Wands, she just knows who she is. She has a very clear sense of self, a very clear sense of boundaries. Yeah? Because, you know, in the past she has given and done for others, you know, but she has learned through experience, through time, that, you know, she can only be strong. She talks about strength. She can only, you see the lions here beneath her, and her famous black cat or leopard. She knows that her strength can only be present, can only be, remain strong, if she continues to be filled, if she continues, if she's looking after herself first, if she tends to her own garden for, wow, she has, you know, the staff that's sprouting here. She has the flower in her hand. You know, she tends to her own garden first, her own fertility, her creative powers, her creativity, so that she can be strong, filled, always replenished, so that she can participate in the whole. And her cat is there to remind her and also protect her. Yeah, why does he protect her? Because he reminds her. In some decks, the cat is a leopard, you know, with the spots. The spots of the leopard represent all her experiences. And it is her experiences that have, you know, together, that became her wisdom. And remind her of where not to go back to, of where she has come from, of where she has grown from, and how to continue growing and replenishing and staying strong. That's the only way one can participate in a whole and come together with others. Let's see what else we have here for Leo. As we say that, I have one cat to my right, lying beside me, and one cat to my left. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune, which talks about, yes, it can talk about change, but it can talk about change in due time, and talk about inevitable change, or how time is on our side, no matter what, really. You know, because the fact of the matter is, whatever we do, I mean, as long as we're doing our best, as best we know and can, with what we have and know, you know, then there's no going wrong, really. You know, we don't have to put ourselves through too much turmoil, so much turmoil as to around, you know, what to do or how to go about it. You know, because time is always on our side. And we are overseen, always, you know, by our angels and guides and God, you know, to show us the way. The wheel keeps on turning. And if we stray, you know, we will be shown our way back to our path. So, continue with your inspiration. Yeah? Follow your inspiration. It's here. It's here for you. It's available to you. And you already feel it. So it's time. It's a good and fruitful time for you to draw on your strength, your wisdom. Yes, because this queen here, she outstrengths this restless mind. She draws on her wisdom from her experiences, and she settles back in to a knowing, you know, not a believing that she can do something, but a knowing that she can and that she is strong. Yes, it's different. Let's take a look at our advice cards. How about that? That's really nice. So here we have the Three of Cups again. Yeah? Which talks about abundance. Which talks about Mercury in Cancer. Yeah? So it's very, you know, we have air and water mixed here. So it's very curious about our feelings. So go ahead and relax and be curious about how you feel. And let it flow. Just revel in the abundance of emotions. Yeah? We don't have to figure it all out through our mind. We can allow ourselves to flow, let the water flow, help us flow, show us to flow. Be in the water even if you have to remember how it is to flow with the tide. You know, I think I'm going to call this reading The Tides of Time. Go with it. Let the wheel turn. In flow, be in flow. And at the same time, we have the Sun in Aries. So again, we are definitely talking about your creativity. Full moon in Leo. Express yourself through your creativity. Or even tap into creative ways of expressing your true self. Yeah? This can help break free from too much going on in the mind, too much action going on in the mind. You know, we can start pulling those swords up from the ground, you know, putting it in our hands like Excalibur, and just moving forward, taking action. Start by moving the body. Get that energy flowing out of the body, out of the mind, out there into the world, and trust that your inspiration will come to you at the right time always. It always does. Great stuff, Leo. How inspiring. This is what you do. You know, by doing this, by embodying this, you inspire others, myself included. So let's close with the Serenity Prayer, which comes in handy. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.